Ryan, I want to talk about our second guy here, who is Henry To'oTo'o from Alabama. Another very highly recruited kid, came from the University of Tennessee, transferring to Alabama and played a few seasons there. Some thought he might have been a part of last class, and I think him returning is a benefit for him and his draft projection. What I got from Henry To'oTo'o, very similar to some of the things that I noticed from the offseason. He's really instinctual.
Yes.
I think that this is a kid who, a really good athlete, smaller, much more compact, who is listed at 6'2", 228-ish, and he might be lighter than that. But he's somebody, when the ball is snapped and things start to progress, he's already at the line of scrimmage. He's already at a position to make a play. And I love the instincts that he brings to the table. It's like a total 180 from him and Noah Sewell, who Sewell's, if he gambles and he guesses right, he's blowing up with a big hit. To'oTo'o, on the other hand, is I see what's going on. I'm making a decision, and I'm getting there quickly, and I'm making a play. It doesn't necessarily have to be a big play, but he's usually a guy that is near and at the football by the time the ball carrier is being brought down.
Henry To'oTo'o, and I have official weights from him from the spring. He was right at 6'1", right about 230 pounds. 33. Oh, sorry, I was reading at somebody else's line there. That was the same exact size. That's a little tricky. So 6'1", 230, 32.5-inch arms, 6'6" wingspan, 10.25-inch hands. So, the length is sufficient. The size is fine for today's NFL. I mean, I think we see a lot of the same things with To'oTo'o in the sense that I think that he is a good processor. I think he sees the game at a good level, just a good overall level, right? Like, he sees the game, and you could tell that he's played a lot of football in his career, right? Like, he played 2 years at Tennessee, played 2 years at Alabama. So this is a 4-year player and 3-year full-time starter at both of those schools. So he's seen a lot of football, and I just don't think that eye candy really gets to him a lot, right? Like, I think that he's usually in the right spot. I think he's a good overall athlete, just kind of like you stated, right? Like, I think that he can move well. I think he's going to be probably somewhere in the 4.60 to 4.65 range as a 40-yard dash kid. Like, he's a good, flexible athlete that I would say, though, is more smooth than explosive. Like, I wouldn't call him explosive. I would just say that he is just a good all-around athlete that, out of his trigger, he's going to get downhill just fine. It's going to be good speed. It's going to be good getting out of his pedal into zone coverage. It's going to be good transitioning and flipping his hits in space. Like, he does all those things at a good level, in my opinion. So he's one of those guys that I wouldn't say Henry To'oTo'o is necessarily great at one thing. I would say that he's just good at everything, right? Like, I just think that he's going to be a good will linebacker at the next level, a player that you can depend on for a long time, can give you impact in the pass game, can play in pursuits, will be in the right spot, and he might never be a dynamic player. He might never make, multiple Pro Bowls. He may never be that guy that leads the team in tackle every single year, but I think that he's just going to be a good football player. So I just think that he, for me, checks a lot of boxes. 4-year player in the SEC, has seen a lot of football, consistent, always in the right spot. I just think that there's a dependability to how Henry To'oTo'o plays.
Right, that's where I'm at with him, is that you're drafting a guy. It's, again, total 180 of what we just talked about with Noah Sewell. Noah Sewell is, you draft this kid, you reel him in, you get him to hone in on some of that aggressiveness and use it in more of a productive way, and he's going to be maybe an all-pro or a Pro Bowl caliber player. Conversely, here with To'oTo'o, he'll probably make some Pro Bowls. He'll probably be a key piece on a good defense, but he's a kid that I know I can start right away. Like, he is somebody who, I think, a team that is like a linebacker and a couple pieces on defense away, that you plug him in and he's going to have an eventual quick impact as a rookie. And he might be in a conversation as one of the better rookies in his class just because of how refined he is. But he's probably closer to his ceiling out of any of the guys that we're going to talk about because he's played so much football. There's only so much more developing that he's going to get. One of the big issues that I caught with To'oTo'o that I think is going to take him time, and we talk about it a lot on this show, is it's not always easy to improve play strength. It's easier said than done. If he improves it, I think it's massive upgrade for him. But I noticed at times the play strength popped up. There was one play where he tried to tackle Bijan Robinson too high, and he just got ran over. Like, you can't do that against Derrick Henry. You can't do that against Jonathan Taylor. If you're going to meet a guy in the gap, you need to be able to make a play. You need to tackle more soundly, but you need to be strong enough to make the tackle. I also saw some issues with him trying to get off of blocks, and it makes sense. He's a smaller linebacker. He's 6'1", he's 230. He's not going to be a head-up guy leading the way. You just described him as a will, and that was my thought is he has to play will at the next level. This has to be a will backer at the next level because this is a pure instinct cleanup guy that just tracks the ball, avoids blockers, and then makes the play. I think he's going to fit that perfectly at the next level, depending where he's drafted.
Yeah, I mean, when we're talking about Noah Sewell's a downhill thumper, right? That's not what Henry To'oTo'o is. So Henry To'oTo'o is an instinctive space player. Like, he's going to work in pursuit. He's going to be in the right spot. I think you said it perfectly with the cleanup player, right? Like, he's a guy that is going to take out the trash on the backside, man. Like, something sneaks through a gap, someone cuts back on inside zone, and there's Henry To'oTo'o to make another stop at the line of scrimmage over a 2-yard gain. You know, like, I just think that he's that rock solid, dependable football player that for whatever reason feels like a New England Patriot to me. I don't know why. Like, I could just see him being that guy that's just like, he's a starting will for the New England Patriots, and that's all she wrote.
Because he's an Alabama guy, that's why.
Seriously, I didn't even think about that, but yeah.
I think that's interesting, and that's one to kind of pay attention to because he could fit right into that system very, very easily and have a very productive rookie year. If we're talking about projection, though, I don't want to reveal my top 5 so far too quickly because we're going to end up doing that reveal next week. But I do have him ranked ahead of Noah Sewell.
Interesting.
And I still have him as a second-round pick. I don't have him any higher because I think that, again, that ceiling has already been met for the most part. But the reason why I have him slightly ahead of Sewell is that I can draft him to play right away, and he's going to play at a strong level compared to Sewell, has a little bit of work to do, and is probably going to be problematic at times for what team selects him because he's going to take some time to, again, like we talked about, reel in some of that over-aggressiveness.
I feel like our opinions on these two are just flipped in the sense that I guess I am leaning more towards the upside while you are leaning more towards about the like immediate return, which, you know, is different ways to look at kind of the structure, right? So I actually had Henry To'oTo'o, what you had with Noah Sewell. I have him as a late second, early third round grade. Like, I think that he'll potentially go a little higher because I think that he kind of checks all those boxes of being in the SEC and having solid size, good athleticism. He hits all those boxes, so I think that he'll get drafted a little higher than an early third-round pick, for instance. I just think there's a little bit of a cap. Even though he's just turned 22 this month, he's not an older player, but he's a guy that I just think I don't see him taking a massive jump anytime soon, right? Like, I think he is close to where he is, and there's nothing wrong with that because you need these ready-made players that can come in and can contribute early, right? Like, there's a world where Noah Sewell comes in and he has to sit a few games or maybe even the first year to try to get used to the speed of the game and to reel in some of those better traits that he has to get the most out of him. Henry To'oTo'o is a guy that I think could start as a rookie. He could give you good, solid play and be the starting will linebacker for the foreseeable future. So late second, early third round grade on him. We'll probably go a little higher, but I just think that he's a rock solid player, but he is close to his ceiling.
I'm kind of laughing at the thought of how I ranked all of these linebackers.
You put Drew Sanders at number 1, didn't you?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I'm not that much of an idiot, but I'm just thinking how you pointed out how I valued readiness in this circumstance, but there's so much inconsistency in that philosophy in my rankings, but you know, it is what it is. I don't think that it's crazy, but we're gonna, next week's going to be fun. I'm excited to do our first player ranking reveal because I think, and starting with linebackers of all positions, the one that you hold the closest and most dear to your heart, you're definitely going to get pissed at me by some of these placements.
I can't wait.
Of some of these guys. Folks, that's going to be it from us. Make sure you head on over to BetOnline, betonline.ag for all the latest odds, sports news, and info. Use that promo code BELIEVE to get that 50% welcome bonus. Again, it's the best site for your betting action. Make sure you head on over to betonline.ag at Joe DeLeone, at Rise and Draft. We'll be back with more, folks. Enjoy the rest of your week.